What words of advice would you give to young people when to go out there and start building your network, building their confidence?
Staying in touch, being consistent.
Your personal brand is really good, but how do you monetize that?
Most important, I love to network. I do love to meet people.
Hey, this is Mike from IntroStars, and today I'm very excited to bring you a brand new episode of the Super Connectors podcast in New York City with a very special VIP guest, Liz, the ultimate super connector. Hey Liz, so good to have you here.
Hey Mike, great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you in the studio. So tell us a bit more, what does it mean for you to be a super connector? When people say that, what image do you have in your mind?
Yeah, it is just a way to connect and bring people together and take that sort of proactive step to whether it's business or career, job opportunities, and see what can result out of that.
So it's like an actual talent just to connect the dots when you meet people, just think in your head, hey, I could introduce people to this person and make them more successful and happy.
And I didn't even realize networking or super connecting was a skill until, a few years ago, but you put yourself out there and you share what you do and the referrals come to you and you can pay it forward. It's the best thing.
So was there like a pivotal moment we thought, you know what, I make all these introductions, this could actually be a thing? And and at some point you start defining yourself as a super connector. Did that happen to you?
Yes, I didn't realize I was a super connector until people would say to me, you know a lot of people, you know so many people. And I didn't really even think about how many people I know, but I do know a ton of people. And it's a very natural skill because it's outside of my core business, which is recruitment and headhunting. So I'm usually looking for people that are, trying to find jobs or looking for companies that are hiring. So connecting was sort of a very natural progression, I think, for my core business.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about a recruiter, it is really a connecting job. You connect employers and candidates. It's all about connecting people. I mean, that's what it's about.
Exactly, yeah. So it just kind of evolved from there. When I stepped into networking, probably about 12 years ago, was a game changer. So yeah, and it just sort of built from there.
And so what types of introductions do you do on a day-to-day basis? Is it purely recruitment, or you do all sides of other introductions as well? What are typically people you introduce?
Yeah, great question. So it's a blend of both. So it's business to business, or it also would be for job seekers to help them get in front of a company. The whole hiring process is very it's very difficult now with all the technology and the AI. And oftentimes what I found a few years ago was that people coming from a corporate job, they hadn't necessarily kept up a network and they didn't know where to start when they lost that job. So I work with those job seekers as well as businesses to help connect them.
And where do you get the joy? Is it when you just introduce random people to each other, or when there's a success story behind that? Like, is there like more of a higher power just saying, I want to do this, I want to connect people? It's not you calling in life. Like, do you have that extra dimension on what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's a combination of both. It's great when you can make a connection and it's a win-win and it results in business growth or job opportunity and both parties are happy. But I don't really count or, sort of pay attention to that. I just do. It just comes very naturally. And now I'm at a point where my network is fairly large, so I can strategically leverage people or groups, or I know someone that can help you with this, that, and the other. But it is a great feeling when it's a win-win and people are happy, whether it's a B2B connection or for a job seeker.
Yeah.
So.
And how do you build those connections? How do you grow your network? Is it just going to in-person networking events? Do people reach out to you? LinkedIn activity? Like, how did you build such a massive network?
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
I have no idea, Mike. I honestly have no idea how it happened. I think most important, I love to network. I do love to meet people. I love to be curious about hearing their story. And when I started getting into it from my recruitment, I would say to candidates, well, I've got a connection at this company. Would you like an introduction? And so long story short, I started doing that and then pulled a group together. And then the rest, it just sort of happened. I think it's just naturally, I enjoy meeting people, tying into my recruitment practice, and then just pulling it all together. So sort of a blended model.
What's the next step for you? Where do you see this going along? Like in the next 10, 20, 30 years, are you just becoming an even bigger connector, connect even more people, like bring a movement together or inspire other people to become connectors?
Probably a blend of both. I think also always paying it forward and helping people to make that, to be proactive, to make an introduction, just to go for it, because you never know what that could result in. And be confident in sharing what you do. Networking sometimes has a bad rap or a bad name, but it really is just educating people about the work that you do and sharing your value. And that's where opportunities come, right? So it's not like, selling and, although some people might view it that way, you're really educating people so that they can understand the work that you do and how they could be a resource. So.
And so the other big question, of course, is how do you monetize that? Because you want to help people,
Yeah.
create a great reputation, personal brand.
Yeah.
So your personal brand is really good, is such a big connector. But how do you monetize that? How do you walk that fine line between building your personal brand and helping others and really valuing long-term relationships, but at the same time monetizing to create real value for yourself and others?
Yeah, so we built in Erudites a small revenue sharing platform system if people are interested, if they're able to. Sometimes, depending on your profession, you can't receive a success fee or referral fee, but we do offer that if people are interested and they would like to participate, because I'm a firm believer that there's tremendous value in who we all know. And so that should be monetized. And
Compensate,
then
like fairly.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And then because my networking is blended into my recruitment fees are, separate, but they sometimes blend over into finding people through the network for jobs, and then also working with executives that are in transition. So I think people don't see networking as getting monetized or getting compensated for the most part, right? But I think it should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you look at platforms like IntroStars,
Yeah.
you can track every introduction you make and receive over time. And if months later a deal comes out of it, the introducer gets fairly compensated.
Yeah.
So that kind of changes the game. Like how would it change things for you or for other people out there who want to become introducers?
I think that's a brilliant model that you have, IntroStars. I think could really be a game changer for so many people, because we go to all these events, we talk to people. 9 times out of 10, you forget the conversations, you forget the people. And I find too, in networking, most people give up after one conversation. Or they might have a great conversation. Oh, this went great. I want to meet with Mike again. And then Mike disappears. And you really have to put in the time. It might be 4 or 5 conversations to really know that person and that business. So it's like sales. Put the time in, have the follow-up. What's that quote? The fortune is in the follow-up, right? So I think that in networking, many times it tends to be very transactional, or just one meeting, and then you move on to the next and you forget that person, right?
Yeah.
But the value, and I've seen myself over the years, comes from staying in touch, being consistent. It might take 4 or 5, might take years. I just bought a new client in after 6 years of on and off networking.
Oh,
They
wow.
finally reached out. So, just staying consistent and putting that follow-up in is really key.
Do you have a system for that? Do you have a tool or a system used for the follow-up?
So we have a very basic proprietary system that we use to track some of the referrals. It's small scale right now for those that are interested, but I think what you guys are doing is brilliant. I think it's tracking and who you met with who. Because I was speaking to someone the other day and they got business from someone I connected, and he said, I went back and I traced the connections and how many people I spoke to, and it all came through you, right? So, like you didn't, you don't, most times you don't think about that, or
Yep.
where did this come from? But
You're the originator of so many things, but you never find out because it's
Yeah.
not tracked properly. Right?
exactly,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tracking is so key. I love what you're doing. So
Yeah, that's cool. So what words of advice would you give to young people
Yeah.
when to go out there and start building your network, building their confidence, and at some point start connecting people to become, like you, a super connector?
yeah, having the confidence to reach out, to find a mentor. Right now, I'm working with the Young Women's Leadership School up in Astoria with the students, and we're teaching career pathing, soft skills, how to network, how to find a mentor, how to ask those questions. And I think through the support of a group, it makes it easier for people to feel confident to do that. It's not easy if you're solo and you're a student, or you just graduated early stage, but if you have a group behind you that's also doing the same thing, trying to find jobs, to help with the resume, find mentors, it makes it easier. So just being confident in getting off your phone, getting off your
Yep.
your iPhone, and putting yourself out there. So, and leveraging your family, your parents. It's who they know too. Could be your dentist. That could be a great referral. You never know where a referral is going to come from. So,
Yeah, so communities, groups,
communities,
and
yeah.
that always elevates everyone together. Amazing. What are you working on now? Where can people follow your adventures, see what you're working on? Any cool projects you're passionate about right now?
eruditesgroup.com or ebcassociates.net are the 2 websites. I'm on LinkedIn, so you can always reach me there on LinkedIn too. Through the network and through some of the business connections, we're doing some events in the next couple of months. So we have a lot going on there, as well as hiring. We have a lot of companies from outside the US that are looking to expand here in the US market. So working with some of those through the network and doing some launch events to spotlight them and to bring in who they're looking to meet. So it's a very focused process. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to think about every startup who wants to expand to the US. I'll make sure to send them to you, Liz.
well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Try to
that.
do those. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for our conversation today. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Lots of pros and wisdom, and keep on doing what you're doing. Inspire others to become super connectors themselves, and I will make the world a better place that way.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. It's great to be here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.